Peace to the room. Peace to the room. Shalom Barak. Peace to the room. Gonna wait a little while before everybody gets in the room. I always say that I'm gonna start some music. This is one of those occasions while we wait for everyone to join. I'll have something going on in the background very soon. Shalom Barak. Akati Mavis. You know, I was today years old when I realized you're the same one who does the cookies. I like cookies. I know a place, ain't nobody crying. I'm gonna have to wait a second before TikTok allows me to share. Looks like it's not stalling and buffering. It's my device is just moving a little slow. Ain't nobody worried. Yahava Ahava. Yahava Ahava. Ahava Ahava. Our source of sustenance and mercy has shown us love so that we know what to do with it. All right. We now have access to share on TikTok. Still moving kind of slow though. Go. Let everybody know we out here. Come on now. This is a test. Today, like always, we're going to speak on entrepreneurship. We're going to speak on service in the community. Found out why TikTok was stalling. It decided to close. On YouTube, there's a share button next to where it says like and save. If you drop your screen back down, like if you tap the lower corner down here, there we go. Now I can get my finger right. The lower again, Facebook, as well as what platform you might be using. You can share it out to your different profiles. All right, so TikTok dropped, and we're gonna have to reboot it. Got a little bit of Burning Spirit we can listen to in the meanwhile. Akati, maybe so I am gonna have to catch up with you about those cookies. Got cookies? You see, I grew up with two stuffed animals in my life. There was Cookie Monster, and there was Winnie the Pooh. Because I like cookies, and I act a lot like Winnie the Pooh, even though he was my little homie. You know, I didn't talk to him, and he talked to me back. There was the little chime that would play. Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh, curly little dudley, all stuffed with fluff. But no, it was just the little music box. But I knew the song because I had Willy nilly silly old bear, deep in the heart of one echo wood, where Christopher Robin played. There we go. we're gonna try this again. Really interesting. Okay, now are you using the YouTube app? That might be what's going on. Instead of going in through the yes, we would like to resume the live on TikTok. That would be awesome. There we go. If you're using the app, it might not give you the same abilities and access. And thank you for even trying to figure it out. Thank you to that. All right, so we are back live on TikTok. Was trying to share. Let's see if we can get some shares out there. Thank you for putting in that effort, Akati Mavis, because yes, my screen on YouTube, I can't even tap in. I'm gonna bring down this music just a little bit. You've heard somebody say, it's so loud I can't even hear myself think. All right, so here we go. Let's try this share out again. Oh, you're doing right. TikTok is one of the emergency broadcast channels. The YouTube channel will be for recording the actual lives so we can share them back in a ready link for public access. And then on top of that, when the time comes, Lord willing, I'll have a camera in front of me separate so that I can capture the footage and then share it back with everyone on my own terms, right? So yeah, you're on the right track using YouTube. YouTube is a net. Facebook is a net. Twitter, TikTok, they're all nets. So you're right being on YouTube because it is a steady one, and the interaction that I have there is actually random because I can't put the title in. I can't put in the all of the information on YouTube until after the fact. So when people come into the lives here, it's just off of things that I've already posted in the past. Bavakasha, thank you. Glad to be of service. Coffee time. TikTok dropped again. See, they're trying to play those games. So it's time to clean out the cache and the cookies, and we want to try this again. All right. So our focus today will be entertainment and education, because we are entrepreneurs serving our community. Entertainment and education. All right. But it's still heavy. But it's still heavy. Still heavy. But it's still heavy. Try it and try. Still heavy. But it's still heavy. But it's still heavy. But it's still heavy. Shalom. Shalom Shabbat. Shalom Abarak. Six of us. You may be at your toil today, and if so, Shalom Barak, peace and blessings. You may be at home with your feet up. You may be at home tending your garden, figuring out what you're going to have for an afternoon snack. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Mind sharing it out to your friends and family. Could you do me a favor? If you like the vibes you're hearing, would you mind sharing it from your own personal space? Today we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship and service in your community, entertainment, and education. We're going to give it a chance for the broadcast signal to settle down. We've had a couple of starts and stops on TikTok. We're cruising over here on YouTube. We're going to be rocking and rolling because there was rocking and rolling before the electronic guitar. We were rocking and rolling on that boat we don't want to talk about. We were rocking and rolling before then on a different boat, casting nets, traveling and visiting. So we rocking and rolling. It's coffee time. Stay hydrated. Got water too, yo. It's coffee time. Let's see. I saw some speaking over here. What's going on? What I missed? What hear what? All right. Charles. Shalom, Charles. Ava. Shalom. Shalom Barak. Peace and blessings to you. Welcome. Bienvenido. Welcome. Assalamu alaikum. Our Father's peace to you. Thank you for joining. Abdul Assad. Assalamu alaikum. So our focus is entrepreneurship and service in your community. Today's topic will be education and entertainment. You can catch this live at 4 p.m. Eastern Time through 6 p.m. Eastern Time, daily, except for Saturdays. We're going to listen to a few songs before we get started, allow people to join and see what's happening and decide if they're going to stay or leave. Either way, you don't break my heart at all. I appreciate you joining me when you do. Showing love. We all live on one planet. We are in this existence and we all share this particular life at this particular time. We're all in this same existence. We all got different vibrations that we emit. However, there are certain vibrations that are always there. That's nature. Nature was set in a balance. I've heard people talk about certain towers that were built in order for them to try and reach the heavens, just in case they couldn't do it from their merit or their works or their faith. It didn't work out too well for them. Not only was the tower destroyed, even their communication was destroyed. Now, not everybody was part of that tower effort, so not everybody was affected that way. Some people kept on building, not towers. They were building what needs to be in the physical, what was already known as an existence. What was unseen was supposed to be made seen in honor of the one that created all of it. Calvaron, shalom. Carrie, shalom. Mad Boy, shalom. Education and entertainment. What's that got to do with being an entrepreneur? How many people have you seen start up a platform and they start posting and they start doing lives and just running off the top of their heads about things that are rubbish? Might be entertaining to some. And this person is earnestly just trying to earn a dollar. They don't care about your educational level, what you're going to gain from it, because they are going to gain from your attention. Now, there's an issue with that because short videos and short forms of rubbish is causing harm to our attention spans and also what we retain in our brains. It's causing something that my Aki refers to as SBS. We're going to give credit to my Aki because he deserves this credit. The Mad Trucker, he identifies people. The Mad Trucker. Had to repeat that for TikTok because it's starting to try to stall out on us. We're going to work with it though. Because you can rock and roll with the Mad Trucker. If you don't see him on TikTok, you can see him on YouTube. And he points out situations where people are showing SBS, smooth brain syndrome. You might be symptomatic of having a smooth brain. Now, the more we increase our intellect and we bind that with our pineal gland, because it has to be decalcified in order for us to initiate wrinkles into that brain. Because that's growth. It means that it has grown way past what should even be in the capacity of the skull. It started to wrinkle up because there were so many neurons that were being built. Not only was the skin that encapsulated it, not only was that stretched and wound, so were the intricate circuits inside of that brain. Those neurons kept on going and multiplying because there had to be space for memory storage and for execution, meaning there had to be an idea and then it had to be set forth. And the more that would happen, the more the brain would grow because now there's more capabilities. Not so smooth anymore because there are more things to do. We've been fooled and told that people only use 10% to 15% of their brains. If that were possible, and if that were the case, 1% of your mobility would be possible. 1% of your senses would be possible. 1% of your digestion, 1% of your respiration, 1% of your circulation. Till we get to around 15 different systems of the human body. Because your brain is the management to said systems. Ta-da for love. Yahava Ahava, we're going to keep it locked in. We're going to keep it focused. We're going to maintain. Not only that, we're going to aspire for excellence because we came from somewhere. And while we're standing here, we're going to make sure that it looks just like where we came from. And to make sure that all of a sudden it's going to be, I didn't just come from there or here. We are here. Here am I. You see, I like to spend time away from everybody. And every now and then I'll show up and let you know, here am I. Because I speak nah. I speak nah. I speak nuh. I speak Noah. Yahweh, Yahweh. Yahweh is love. Ahava. Love is love. Who ready to jump up out your seat? Okay, now where you going when you jump out your seat? Hmm? Who ready to sit still for a second and think and build and plan? Because I'm right there with you. Who ready for a cipher? Who ready for a session? Amin Salash. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka nabudu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihsina sirata al-mustaqim. Surata al-Latina an'amta alayhim. Khayril maghdubi alayhim. Walad Dolin. In the name of our Father, the most merciful, most compassionate, Lord over worlds, who set all things into place and made the deen, the way of life, possible. The most compassionate, the most merciful. We ask you for your strength that you provide. We ask you for your guidance along the way against doing things that would displease you. We ask that you show us how to be upright along that path and to also pardon us when we make mistakes. Please do not put us with those who displeased you, because you are eternal. You are the one who set my path. I ask you for strength and forgiveness in all things. Amen. What's your mission? Because that's the mission. Thank you all for coming and spending this time, because the focus is entrepreneurship and service in your community. The topic for today is education and entertainment. There are people out here who are specifically on the mission to gain by entertaining you. And there's a lot of ways to be entertained. There's foolishness. And then there's also ways that you can build your brain. Anybody ever told you if you build it, they will blog? Anybody ever tell you that? Did you know that life could be a field of streams? If you hadn't heard it before, you just heard it from Dolly Old Guy. Tam, bam, shalom to you. Thank you for being a part of the chat today. We'll try to attempt to open the lines at the end of the live. We'll try and give it 20, 30 minutes. Let's see. We're in about 25 minutes right now. So you can catch this live at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern daily, except for Saturdays, where we go in on a discussion. And then at the end, we're still trying to figure out how to open up those live channels for people to be able to speak. However, there is a certain criteria that we are focusing in on right now today, because we use these platforms, we use our profiles for interaction. And there are times when they're trying to take our attention and interact with us with non-intelligentsia, we shall say, with garbage for the mind. So we're going to not just scrutinize what causes the factors of SBS, this smooth brain syndrome. We're going to figure out how to not only stamp it out, to also disregard it, because we are flooding the network with so much information that everyone's intellect and brain will have to grow. They will have no choice. You've seen the emoji. Mind-blowing decisions, causing head-on collisions. Who's with me? If you're with me, we're all getting that cosmic Bluetooth download, if you're with me, because these aren't my words. I'm the vessel. All right. I grew up around a certain environment, and that instilled in me the message. Love is the key. If y'all didn't know, if you ain't heard, love is the key to life, and everything feels right. Brother mine once asked me, "Hey, what you think about that Frankie Beverly? What you think about that, Frankie?" So you want to know the truth, or are you just asking for conversation? No, I want to know. I said, look at Maze is great. Now you take out that nasally voice, Maze is great. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. I ain't got no hatred towards Frankie Beverly. That's just not my vibration. That's all. You want to see me run away real quick? Put on the Neville Brothers. I can't leave the room fast enough. You heard? Now I'll stand outside your house and I will sing Amazing Grace. Not even to the top of my lungs, but I will sing it away from them. Because that voice irritates me some kind of way. You see, I used to sing in the choir in church, and I was singing tenor, even though my voice is like this. I'm a baritone, I'm a bass, and I have to pitch up to harmonize in order to sing like a tenor and make sure that it reaches the back of the room, as a matter of fact. So when I'm standing up there trying to work it out in my brain, when Yashava comes again, not only am I sitting there saying it in the correct name, because they aren't, not, no, no. Saying the correct name and trying to find a way to harmonize. And we inquire practice, or even when we were actually behind that preacher that would sometimes turn around and preach to the choir. Now, the choir conductor, he actually is an award-winning conductor, and he was standing in front of 15, maybe 16 people. 4 men, 5 at tops, and the rest were women, alto, tenor, so on and so forth. And he could hear what was going on, because this man has stood in front of the State Symphony Orchestra and directed them. He could stand in front of a choir and have this over here become broad, and then that over there become broad, and then in the middle bring up that crescendo. This man looked me dead in my eye and said, "How'd you do that?" I don't know, sir. I play trumpet in the band and I listen to music at home. I'm hearing what people are doing. Said this 16-year-old, 17-year-old me, whose voice was getting to this point, because it wasn't to this point. This was 30 years ago. How did you do that? I asked for that because would run around the house, and there's certain songs that I would hear. There's certain songs that I would sing along to. Other ones, not so much. Certain things that I knew was fitting, and certain things not so much. Certain things that even caught my attention and caught my heart enough to where I did want to sing it. I wanted to emote it. I wanted people to know that that's how I felt too. Thank you, artists, for making that, because I needed that in order to express myself. That's what moved me to become an artist and a musician. It wasn't because I woke up one day and figured out that I was great with a crayon, especially if I mixed in drawing the lines out with a pencil, came back with an ink pen and colored side. Because when I was using color books, I would also color outside the line because I was making those fades and those distinctions between the this whatever character image and the sky. There would be some blends from the skin tone or whatever was going on. Those who know me will know and note that I start to rhyme when I get in tuned, let's say, and I get to start speaking. I'm a quiet person. However, when I do start speaking, there's a lot of information on my brain. Education and entertainment. Everyone was in a hoorah about how if so and so country got their hands on our social media platforms, they could get our information, and then they could try and manipulate us. No, you're manipulating yourself already, because everybody who thinks that just because they have a phone in their hot little hands, they can go out here and just try and take whatever footage they want and then put it right back in front of the people. And then it's up to the person to discern whether or not they want to even have to deal with it. There was a time when there were regulations. Not everybody had a television program, let alone a station. Not everybody had a radio program, let alone a station. The best you could do was a ham radio if you wanted to have influence and access more than a mile away from you. You better have a powerful ham radio, or you better be riding around and you have a CB and you're getting like the truckers because you've seen the 48 connected states from hitting those roads, and you've met different people from hitting those roads. You've been a merchant in life, or you actually have been a traveler, and you spent that time not in just one area code or zip code or ward or county or state. You traveled. Might not know what a duppy conqueror is, do you? You might not understand the concept of a buffalo soldier. You might not understand when you see me wearing a shirt commemorating the veterans who were buffalo soldiers from the U.S. military. You might not understand why I wear that shirt. You might not even understand when I tell you I wear the shirt, because it's a joke. Because of this shirt, there's very few bison. You understand me? You don't know what it is to be a duppy conqueror until you've actually traveled and went to a few places and put your feet on the dirt and corresponded with the people there. Kind of find out how they live instead of what somebody trying to tell you. And you get there, and then you have to dispel a few myths because they heard some things about where you from. Matter of fact, they done heard some myths about how we're supposed to regulate ourselves everywhere that we are. How we're supposed to regulate ourselves everywhere that we are. There's certain squares we're supposed to stand upon. There's a certain foundation we're supposed to stand upon. We don't stand upon loose sand. We don't even stand just in the water. I recollect that there was an angel with 1 foot on sand and 1 foot in the water. That meant that he was dealing with population is like the number of sand grains along the shore. The perspective of the people moves like water because it can change at any given moment. So you got this angel that's standing with one foot in the water and one foot on the sand and finds this one lone person standing there saying, "Feed me." So that angel gave a scroll and said, "You need to eat this. Might be a little bit bitter on the tongue, but you need to eat it, consume it fully, and then give it back to the people." No, you're not going to regurgitate it. You're going to digest it. You're going to feel it, and it's going to be part of your own cellular formation. It's going to be part of how you think, how you move, and from now on, it's going to be the way that you actually feed yourself. That individual had to figure out how I'm going to take that back to this water and this sand. Because it's not about educating or entertainment. Now it's about I got to feed the people this. And then later, through entertainment, educate them so that they will come back for more of this food. There was no time for silliness or buffoonery or acting out of character because we are here to remind people what characters are and the story behind them. Really. So let's take a look at this. People call a certain culture Paleo Hebrew because it was before modern times. Therefore, it is Paleo. It is before our concept of what we call civilization as we know it today. They had a certain manner of speaking. They even had a recognition for each sound. There's these characters that you could use that would demonstrate what you're trying to say in times of difficulty for communication. Okay? Each of those characters had a story to go along with them. So you got the sound of it, and then you got a story to go along with it. So when you're actually speaking with someone, however you line up those characters is telling a story, right? Let's go back to the people and give them those stories. I might give you this energy over here, or I might have told you it's going to be a potluck later. Let's give the people the stories. We're going to feed them either way. So don't come here just because your stomach growling. Don't come here just because your ear needed to hear. Come here for all factors, for all reasons, because we are joined together. We don't always get to eat lunch together. We don't always get to break fast together. However, when we do, it's when we're in one accord. How do you know that the disciples actually acted like family? How do you know? Because you could put 12 disciples in one accord, and that's a small vehicle. You ever seen a Honda Accord? They might even have a station wagon model. I don't know. 12 disciples were in one accord. What came out of one's mouth didn't necessarily come out of the other. The line of thought from this one over here wasn't the same as his brother. They were in one accord, though. They took road trips. They took sea voyages. I guess then they put the Accord on the ferry, and it would be a ferry boat. Because we rocking and rolling, y'all. This is how it was done even before the electric guitar. This is how it was done before the boat that y'all didn't even want to talk about. This is what we were doing on boats. We were casting nets, traveling, and visiting. Education and entertainment when you are being an entrepreneur and you are serving your community. We sit around and talk about it all the time. Wish I could start up a business. Wish I could do something that could make a change because I don't like what I see out there. Okay. So we go beyond the wish then. We pray for that change. Change gonna come. I know. Prayer means to think about it, say it, and then act upon it. So when you put your petition out and you've asked for certain things, now you need to act upon it. We got physical paper, and then we also have the digital realm, which is now respected the same way as physical paper. You can do a digital signature if you need to. David took a slingshot and some smooth stones to defeat a giant. What's your excuse? What's your excuse? See the hearts and the love. Can we get some green hearts and some locks and keys? Yahava Ahava. Ahava Ahava. If David looked up and said, hold on, who is this non-law abiding behemoth that thinks he's gonna come around here trying to disrespect? What's no, we're not doing that. No. What y'all what y'all been trained the wrong way. Well, my sword don't match his sword. Oh, so you have to use the same weapons? My armor don't match his armor. I have to wear that? I've seen more ferocious bears out there. I've seen more ferocious lions that would rip him asunder. All right, so you keep that sword. I can't use that. That's gonna be too heavy. It's in my way. You keep your shield and all your armor and everything. That's in my way. Because I need free range of motion. You know, look out, y'all. You didn't know it, but I'm the same height as Mike Tyson. You didn't know it. I throw hands like Mike Tyson. You didn't know it, but no, I don't weigh the same as Mike Tyson, right? However, I've done something similar to Musa, Moses, except for the guy didn't die from my strike. No, he didn't. He didn't lose his life. No, he had to get some cosmetic surgery because this part of his eye broken. What he did, he broke his eye. Said they were sparring. See, that's a Wu-Tang quote. Y'all have to understand something about Wu-Tang Clan before the children. At that particular point in time, someone had bullied my younger brother in a short snap instance. I don't know if you've ever played the game 21 in basketball. It's kind of a free for all thing. So when you go up for the rebound, I can't necessarily call a foul on you if you elbow me in my eye. Now, here's the thing. I'm 7 years older than my brother, and at the time I was maybe 12, maybe 14. So my brother's somewhere between 5 and 7 years old, out there innocently trying to play basketball with his friend. We'll say they were both around 7 or 8 years old. Because no, my brother he's a big guy, but no, he was not playing on a full basketball court when he was 5 years old. Now 7, yes, he was actually big enough and strong enough to play on a full basketball goal. Now, if I'm 14 years old, the young man I'm speaking about was 13, and he's over there jumping up, windmilling his arms and flailing his legs. Yeah, that high. Can't do it over here on YouTube because of the way but yeah, knees up, kicked out. To get a rebound over some younger boys who were at least 2 feet shorter than him. And I was actually standing off to the side having a discussion with one of my other friends, one of my close brothers. Been brothers since both of us, well, I was 6, he was 5 when we met. So while we're having that discussion about how it's so nice to be able to look at my younger brother and him having that same kind of bond happening. My brother Robert is telling me, yeah, dude be wilding like that. And we get to where we don't play 21 when he comes around. Bro, this your goal. Can't have him just doing whatever. It's your goal. Yeah, ain't nobody done that. Oh, yeah, for real? I'll tell you what. Hold on a second. Man, why my brother on the ground? Why my brother on the ground? I didn't, he didn't get the second I didn't out because then he was on the ground. After flying through the air like a cartoon, a good 10 feet and then slid. I wasn't but 14 years old at the time. I was looking for the charge because we don't want YouTube to suddenly shut down on us, right? Because we rocking and rolling, y'all. I want you to understand something. My brother and I, we are inseparable, meaning that's a non thing. It is not happening. We are inseparable, unseparable. We are together, yet you can see a difference. Inseparable, unseparable. Today, I stand at the height of Mike Tyson. My brother stands at the height of Khaled Kofi. My build is like Bruce Lee. My brother, if Khaled Kofi is solid, my brother is built in that same frame. You understand? If anybody tries to slight me in any way, shape, or form, I have to jump up to stop him. I'm not worried about jumping up to stop the person who wants to slight me. I have to stop him. And you better hope I'm fast enough to stop him. And he's even checked me. And when he checks me, understood. Respect. Man, you ain't gotta do all that. No, understood. Respect. You caught me slipping. And when you checked me, you caught me because I was falling. Thank you. Because if you didn't love me, you would have watched me fall on my face. Thank you. Did I? Selah. You remember me from a previous stream? Zenith. Shalom Barak. Peace and blessings to you. In case you didn't know, we're talking about entrepreneurship and service in your community. Today's topic is educating, education and entertainment. Who knows about KRS-One? Edutainment, Blastmaster. Knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. That's part of why my tongue keeps getting tied and twisted because I'm so used to even saying edutainment. The thing is, oh yeah, let me run it back real quick over here. That's why my tongue keeps getting twisted because I keep thinking about edutainment, education, and entertainment because knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. Hmm. So not everybody gets it. Oh. Hmm. Not everybody's supposed to get it either. brother of mine gifted me this shirt long ago. Says he could see me in this shirt. Over there in YouTube world, you might not be able to see the whole shirt. It says the School of Hard Knocks. I could tell what he was talking about when he said he saw me in the shirt. I could see it. So if love is the key to life, and we're trying to bring a flood of knowledge, how could we go about doing so? I'm going to tell y'all a story. All right, I'll do you a favor. It's for you over there in YouTube land. You see it now? Flood of knowledge. What were you doing in 1995? What were you doing on the Day of Atonement in 1995? There was a march that was happening. 1,000,000 men were called. 1,000,000 men of a certain caliber, of a certain grade, of a certain cloth, of a certain lineage, of a certain phenotype. Where were you? Did you attend? There was a lot of hype and hoorah about this upcoming march in my city. So I went to one of the meetings to see what they had planned, because you could hear these announcements about how if you wanted to attend, or if you wanted to be one of the sponsors, or if you wanted to be one of the group leaders, answer the call. Spend $1 on the corner and get a newspaper, spend another $1 to get an orange, ride down the block and find out what's going on in the community, because there's this guy standing there wearing a suit and a bow tie. Final call. Final call. So I go, and I've been told that I'm eccentric. I don't know if you've noticed. I've been told I'm eccentric and not the bad kind. I was like, well, what is the bad and what is the good? I know what the word eccentric means. Well, it basically means that we thought you were schizophrenic, but you're not, because you really don't have the tendencies of wanting to disassociate with society enough to where you would push a cart around with your belongings and go live homeless. However, we can see that you would grab a backpack and a pup tent or a hammock tent and have some seeds in your pocket and go live somewhere near a creek. Yeah, you see that. So we're going to say that you're eccentric instead of saying that you have some sort of psychosis. We're just going to say that you think differently. Anybody ever tell you that you're not like the others? There was an MJ, and then there was an MJ, and then there was an MJ, and none of them were like the others because they could enunciate. And something like a chameleon, they could blend in. And they were appropriate at the times that they needed to be appropriate. Anybody ever tell you that you're not like the others? Really? I'm not like anybody. I'm me. education, and entertainment. That's what's up. That's what's up, Zena. And thank you. Tada. Appreciate you liking this shirt. I was in a band once. There wasn't necessarily a front man because the front man, now if we put him behind a curtain somewhere and he could get his Wizard of Oz on, oh, it would have been great. But if we went, bloop, here's the microphone, get at it. So I played guitar, and there was a bassist and a drummer. The bassist gave me this shirt. My brother Weasel. Wish only big cause heart. Wish only Weasel. Now, why is he named Weasel or Wish only? That's another story. Because right now we're talking about how can we develop a flood? Because we are entrepreneurs seeking service in our communities for a specific special interest group. And we're going to keep that part understood. Sometimes you might hear me say a name about this special interest group or that special interest group over there. As a matter of fact, once we get to rocking and rolling in this, daily, there will be a different special interest group to talk about because we're going to talk about the ways that group can approach society as a whole on a daily basis. However, we're going to be talking about different special interest groups. Let me see here. These stories have really given an impact on my life. Awesome, yawesome, in a good way that couldn't be any June Bay at your service. Amitava, Amitwofo. Glad to be of service, Bavakasha. Mucho me gusto. It's my pleasure. So where were you in 1995 when they were calling for this march? And prior to the march, I went to one of the meetings. And they say that I'm eccentric, and this is before these people knew me or met me, and they have seen me around the city. However, they didn't know who this person was. Walking in, wearing a life vest turned inside out, so it was black and red checked like the shirt that you see on me, except for it had checker patterns. And if you turn a life vest inside out, then you will see that it has a label that tells you all about, yes, this is to help you if you do happen to fall into water. However, it would help if either you knew how to swim or somebody around you knew how to swim, because this is not a life preservation vest. It is merely here to help you float. It is a flotation device. Okay, so I'm wearing this life vest that would actually be tan on the outside, but I've got the tan on the inside. And over that, I'm wearing this backpack. And if anybody knows me, they know I like a certain cartoon called Dragon Ball Z. Not necessarily a fan of Goku. To most people, you would say that I'm Piccolo. Can you see that over here? You see it? The little antenna right there. Can you see him? You see him? Yeah. Piccolo. And when King Piccolo showed up, even though he was supposed to be the guardian of said planet, he wasn't too happy with the populace of that planet when King Piccolo showed up. Took a while for King Piccolo to decide that he even liked these people, let alone respect them. No, that's all fiction. That's all made up. And no, I don't spend my life trying to emulate that. However, there's an important part to it besides the martial arts and the story and the lore and all of that kind of thing. You see, the group that was formed through Goku and Gohan and Piccolo and Vegeta and so on and so forth, they had to go and deal with Master Roshi, Turtle Kai. If anybody knows me and has spent time around me, meaning if you know me, then you have an intimate knowledge of how I move around. They call that boy Tortuga. Say, Yamame Tortuga. Because I'm a turtle. Se llama Pedro Tortuga. Mi primero se llama El Speedy Gonzalez. Don't tell nobody that sometimes I can speak other languages. Hold on, what's going on over here? Live will end. Picture pages, lots of fun with picture pages. Time to get your crayons and your pencils. So anybody that knows me or spent some time around me has seen me walking around with a backpack full of books. I conditioned myself to do this because when I was in school and they give you a locker, the locker is never anywhere near any of your classes all day. So I was in the habit of just carrying my books with me. Now, most times I did most of my work at school, so there wouldn't be anything called homework by the time I got home. However, me being me, the reason why my work would be done is because I would go ahead and do all the work that was necessary. So by the time Wednesday came around, from a Monday through Friday week, I'm already covered. All right, pre-tests have already been done for all 6, 7 periods of the day. Went chapter by chapter. As a matter of fact, I'm probably about a chapter or two ahead because when I walked in on the first day and the teacher or instructor gave us their what's that list called? Their syllabus and told us everything that they was going to be talking about. And then I came in, I sat down, and I'm looking at the chalkboard, and all of the notes and everything that I need to know are written there. So I'm already scribbling in my notebook. I don't know about you, but I came to take care of business here so that by the time I get home, I can do what I need to be doing at home. X amount of chores. And by the time I get done with that, I'm going to be outside before the sun comes down or the street lights come on because then I have a condition. I either have to be on the porch or I have to be standing up underneath that street light so that everybody who needs to see me can see me. And I'm not talking about being conceited. I'm talking about from every porch and every front door. If an adult needs to know where me or any of my companions, my cohorts, my compatriots, my comrades, and my confidants, because they were all mixed in. And some of them truly were my confidants. Some of them were just companions because they were a relative of this person that was standing there. And we did spend time together. But no, these are a group of maybe 5 or 6 of us who were always together. The Get Along Gang, we were called. You remember those days? So anybody that knows me knows also during the summertime, I might have a backpack full of books and it's fourth grade and I'm on a BMX and I'm riding around because I'm about to go find a place in the woods that only me and my friends know about, where there's a gigantic rock with lichen growing all over it, and I can sit on that rock and have a peaceful moment and read or stare off at the sky and contemplate the fact that all of this was made and I get to enjoy it. And I say thank you. Ta-da. Bye-bye. And so to this day, one of my favorite stories is Musa. Moses sitting on the hill and contemplating like that. I can't attribute my existence to the sun and the moon and the stars that hang in the sky because someone put that there. I can't attribute it to the wind or the weather. Someone put that into place. Can't attribute it to the animals and the plants, the flora and the fauna. I can't put it on that because someone else put that into place, or the ground that I'm sitting on, or the water that I can drink or pull food out of. Someone, the sum of all. So I walked into this meeting with a life vest on and a full backpack, and they stopped me at the door. Steel toe boots to y'all. Steel toed boots. And they proceeded to pat me down and they wanted to let me know that I had to. They proceeded to pat me down and let me know that they needed to search my notebooks and books inside of my bag. And by the way, what are you doing? Oh, I'm expecting a flood. A flood? Well, what you gonna do with books in the middle of a flood? Oh, it's a flood of knowledge. And I don't mind leaving a backpack here next to you. However, that's going to be cumbersome for you, for everybody that's going to be walking through here. So go ahead and look. That's books. However, I would like for my books to be with me where I sit. Zip. Yeah, that's some books. That's some books. Here you go, some books. Zip. Sat at their meeting for a while. Didn't attend the whole meeting. Found out everything I needed to know. And I got up and I walked out. Oh, bro, you leaving so early? I sure am. Assalamu alaikum. Oh, well, come assalam, bro. We didn't even know we didn't. It's all right. It's all right. And I went on about my business. You see, by then, I was around 18 or 19, and I had come across the autobiography of Malcolm X when I was 16. And immediately was asked to write a research paper in my English class. Not particularly about that subject, however, that's the subject I chose. And in my studies, I found out about Marcus Garvey, and I found out about Elijah Muhammad and Farag Muhammad and some guy named Louis Farrakhan. Hmm, I ain't been paying much attention. I had stopped watching the news way before I was 16 because I was disillusioned. I'm missing a call, you all. We're cruising at midway of an hour. I can take that call an hour from now because this is important. That call is very important too. We'll get to that. Because right now I need for you all to understand why I was doing this research about a brother named Malcolm X, later to be known as Malik El Haj Shabazz, and why I knew about these folks who was talking about they wanted to get this meeting together for atonement. As a matter of fact, when the man stood up and he wanted to tell the people why he gathered them together, he wanted to tell them about atonement. Oh, this man speak some kind of weird Latin, and he does speak English, and I ain't heard a word of some Arabic yet. Now that's just me, and that's just my ears. I'm not throwing dirt or I ain't throwing shadows at nobody. I just got my own observations. I might be wrong, I might be right. That's just me being human. So when I left out of this meeting, And I was scratching my head because at the time I was employed at a place and had taken up college, worked at a place graveyard shift, and went to college sometimes day classes, sometimes night classes, sometimes immediately from leaving class, I was going in scheduled to work. So one of my classmates asked me because he's the one that got me the gig in the first place. You going? So yeah, I'm thinking about it. Excuse me. And I even put in my time request to be gone for at least 3 days surrounding that, the day before, the day of, and the day after, for traveling arrangements. So when it came upon the time to actually go and be there, as far as my classmate was concerned, I was there. I was amongst them. I was amongst many. It was a momentous occasion. Each of our generations have been a part of some type of march or some type of movement. Mm, hmm So, needless to say, I was sitting on the corner of my parents' bed while we were watching CNN while things were taking place on camera in the Washington, D.C. area because I had chosen to stay at home. I did not need to attend that particular meeting and be spoken to from the guest speakers that I saw listed. None of them have shown any remorse for a person who actually was and is a guiding inspiration to me. I want you all to understand something. I went and learned Arabic and the customs of being a Muslim because I wanted to emulate the mission of Malik El Hajj Shabazz. Malik El Hajj Shabazz. Understand the moment when I'm kneeling in prostrations and I am uttering Arabic. I feel like he felt when he was on his pilgrimage and he was kneeling and going through prostrations. Someone who I look up to, this is what he did. And he uttered these same phrases and he directed himself this way. They asked me when I was 5 or 6 years old, what do you want to be when you grow up? Cowboy. You're too little to play football. I don't like football. Especially don't like the Cowboys in football. I like Pittsburgh. No, that ain't what I'm talking about. I want to be a cowboy. Why you want to be a cowboy? Because Tonto is better at it than the Lone Ranger. Better recognize. So by the time I was 16 or 17, ole, everybody want to be a cowboy. Ole, everybody want to be a cowboy, except for me. Because if you want to survive in this system, they wear a mask. If you want to survive in the system, they wear a mask. Here I am, 18, 19 years old, and these young ladies are running up on me at the campus. Why you wear that camouflage? Because I'm a refugee. I know some guys that talk like that. Yeah, I bet you do. So, So we covered how we gonna flood things. Because no matter how we move, people remember how we were moving when we were 2, when we were 10, when we were 16, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Flood our environment when necessary. Because when the water recedes, there is sediment that is rich, making the ground fertile for the seeds to prepare to sprout and take root. So we flood the ground so that the waters will recede and the soil will be fertile for the seeds to sprout and take root. And after there's this flood of knowledge, we apply it because where there's not fertile ground, there is rock, which would be our foundation, where we start building. If we can't dig into the ground, make a basement, and then put flooring on top of that, then some walls and a roof, then what are we doing and why are we here? And I'm not talking about a temple, I'm talking about a house and a home. I'm also talking about how can you approach that in a digital aspect. How many of you know about MySpace and Facebook? What kind of foundation do you have on Facebook? And do you have an actual baseball team worth of platforms that you use? Because you see, they're using your name all day and they're sending you digital postcards to remind you of what they want you to consume. So, what are you doing as a producer and building? Because if you build it, they will blog. And you want to give them something to talk about. If you build it, they will blog. You want to give them something to talk about because this is a field of streams. And you heard that from Dolly Old Guy. So, is your platform 9 players deep? Can you cover the field and then turn around and start swinging and making hits? Or are you just a fan watching while they take money and you buy merchandise and popcorn and tickets? Nothing wrong with being an observer. There's a problem when your observance is taxing you. You see, that's how my mind thinks. That's why when I was 2 years old and I walked into the room with some adults and asked them a question about what they're talking about at that particular moment, and they pat me on my giant afro head and say, "Hey, boy, going back over there?" And I said, "No, I heard y'all talking. Y'all been arguing. So, why is this and what's that?" See, there was a show that used to come on. It's called, I think it was a Nielsen Lair report or Neiman Lair or Newman Lair report, somebody report. And they talked about the issues. They didn't over aggrandize what was not necessary. They did not exploit another person or populace. They spoke on topics. And guess who was sitting there watching that just as much as whenever they were watching the game or something like that? I don't care about the game. Y'all can hoorah all y'all want. All they doing is throwing a funny looking ball that bounces in different directions if it falls on the ground. How far have we gotten here? We're at the hour and 20-minute mark. Thank you all for spending this time. So let's go ahead and wrap it up, huh? So this 2-year-old was intelligent enough to pick up on grown folks' conversation and was eloquent enough to be able to let them know he had an opinion about it and even had a second outlook, a perspective that was informative. So it wasn't just an opinion. So, no, there are certain things that you can put on a television screen that I won't even be paying attention to. Matter of fact, I done left the room because you bored me. Those are things that are not even in my brain. There's no place for it to take root and grow in my interest. It won't gain interest. As a matter of fact, whatever that happened to have been might as well have been a tree that didn't have fruit. It withered away from me a long time ago. I have no reason to even partake. That goes with the tree of buffoonery. That goes with the tree of distractions. Selah. Shalom, Brother Rich. Shalom, Bendy. Oh. So today we have been discussing entrepreneurship and service in your community. We have been discussing education and entertainment and how we can actually utilize these as tools, as a positive way in the community. Now, how are we discussing that? Well, honestly, I was sharing some stories with you about how I got on this road to where I am in front of you today. And on the breakdown, we're going to put it like this. Who knows what the word vetted means? VETTED, vetted. It means that if I say I'm going to do something, you can trust that whatever it is that I outline and highlight and say this is how it's going to be done, and these are the works and the actions, and this is the amount of time that it will take. These are the materials that are necessary. You can trust and believe that it is that because I have shown and proven over time, several times, and could repeat the process. It doesn't mean, well, boom, boom, that means vetted. VETTED. Certified by a process of repetition over time to always net results. It doesn't mean I bought your trust. Doesn't mean that I hung around you enough time to where you could say we've spent a certain amount of time together. It doesn't mean equity. It doesn't mean that I have gained a profit from being around you, whether I've profited currency or whether I've profited notoriety. Being vetted does not mean equity. It doesn't mean notoriety. It doesn't mean financial backing because all of those things could be done by any agent, any person, any given time. Trusted, worthy. Amin, Selah, Ashe. Tada, Bakati Mavis. Trusted, worthy. I didn't come here to put a smile on your face. I pray that you have a smile on your face because you are thankful to the one that provided life and everything around you. And you remember to smile to say thank you to our Father Yahweh Elohim, to Ravak HaKadesh, the Holy Spirit, that helps to move you around and inspire you and remind you to have that energy to make you want to jump up out your seat and leap for joy, to reveal Hazan Yahasharael, reveal Yahasharael. If we're going to entertain ourselves, then we need to use the customs and culture that would do so. We're not going to try and bend and manipulate things that have been given to us in captivity. Going to cleave to what we know is righteous, not to what makes us feel good. Because sometimes it's going to be a very bitter taste on the mouth and it's going to feel real strange in the stomach because it's not something that you're used to. Your mind was in a placebo, thinking that you had something when it wasn't. Because we need to be educated while we are being entertained. I grew up watching PBS. I grew up watching news at 5 and then news reports after 5. I grew up watching What's Happening Now. Raj, Rerun, Dwayne, Miss Shirley. I grew up watching Good Times. When I was little, I didn't know I was right down the block from Cabrini Green. Didn't find that out till much later when we were going down to Ishtown. I didn't know. It's just another spot to me. Then by the time I went to another city, that was just a place that happened to have a strip mall. Oh, it's a treat to go to the bazaar. I did not know that. I did not know that there's a difference between that market and then when they put it in a box and call it the supermarket. I didn't know this. I had never seen a supermarket until I was about 4 or 5 years old. And I had been to all kinds of stores. I could tell you all about a storefront all day. Now ask me about what a supermarket is. And this was at a time when, yeah, they were in existence. Now, this was before anyone knew anything about Wally World. However, there were supermarkets in existence. There were malls. There were department stores and all that good stuff. That constitutional ta-da, ta-ba stuff. But should we say thank you for it? Those conveniences didn't always work out for our benefit. So let's go and wrap it up, right? We are entrepreneurs who want to be of service in our community in a positive way because we are a necessary part of one big circle that represents a special interest group. Now, each and every one of you might have a special interest group that you want to be able to send proceeds to, no matter if it's your time, your effort, or your treasures. So keep in mind there's a product or service that you could be providing to the community. When you don't have that physical product, you still have the power of posting. Whether you post something yourself or if you share it with somebody else, let's say you like it, and then you share it to other people. And then you even put a comment there to let people know, hey, this one made me think about it. And so this is what I felt. This is how I think. Type it on in there. Because the person who posted it doesn't know what you think until you tell them. Whether you agree or disagree, or maybe you think about something else, let them know. Because then it also lets the world know, oh, I don't have to be shy. Oh, I can say something too because so and so did. I needed that. This post inspired me, and then my friend or this person that I don't even know posted something that I also feel too, or I want to add to that. You see, that's what puts your favorite artist back in front of you And then also in front of people that you care about. Because you can keep that business card, or you can throw it away, or you can put it up there on the refrigerator, or you can put it down in the utility drawer, and who's going to see it? But the second you like those chicken wings, you on the telephone telling somebody about them chicken wings. That business owner who is outside of food needs your help. Before it's time to cut the grass, see where it is the season. Right now it is time to cut the grass. Before it's time to cut the grass, have you spoken with your neighbors about who tends your yard and their yard and who can help down the street or even across town? Because y'all happen to share the same landscape contractor. And have you posted it up on the web? You ain't even got to show your yard. Show that person's profile with their information. Click share. You can either take a picture or you can share a link directly from their profile. So of course that means that they have a profile, right? And if they don't, then you can take it upon yourself to just post their information. Then you post a picture of a yard that you might even admire. It don't gotta be your yard. You ask that neighbor, hey, you mind if I stop because I've seen them at work here in the yard. Matter of fact, hey, so and so, I see you on your lawnmower right now. Mind if I take a picture of you so I can put this out here and let other people know what you do? Oh, I don't mind. I don't mind. As a matter of fact, no, I'm just trying to keep it on this small scale. Well, yeah, you might be trying to keep it on a small scale. The thing is, what if something happens to you and you do have these employees? You see, I see a legacy in you. What's your mission? Not just asking that landscaping person, what is your mission? That is the question, right? So, with that being said, I want to thank you all for coming and hanging out and spending time because you could have been anywhere. So be mindful. We are here to entertain. However, we're also here to educate with a flood of knowledge. As a matter of fact, look me up, Angelic Discipline, or 3PROJH, 3P Rouge, or DJ Microwave 5000 watts, or Wired Owl, Highest Heights Studio, Mafia Soy Publications, Terrence Terrace. We came into this one listening to some reggae. We're gonna close out with it. Says I could invite Bruda Rich or Anansi family. Shalom Anansi family. Shalom y'all's daughter. Shukran Aki. Thank you for all of those likes, Night Trucker. Tada Kati Mavis. Yahava. Ahava. I'm familiar with one named Bruda Rich. I invite you up if you would like to take that. I'll find some music real quick. Uh, we're at the hour and 34-minute mark, so we do have at least 25 minutes. If you all have the time, you work with me, I'll work with you. Chant down Babylon. You all ready for that? We spoke on KRS One earlier. Let's see what we have on the record for that. Bev's Body Butter. Shout outs. Shalom Aparak. Bev's Body Butter. Now that's one of those 1 minute videos that I need to catch up on. I have done one in the past. I need to do another. Bev's Body Butter. You all should put your orders in for that particular product. I've seen Khaled Kofi dig into it and work with it and everything. Upon meeting him and Honorable Amma and Young Solomon, they pull up and jump out and they're doing their thing. Honorable Amma comes around to the back of the vehicle along with Pastor Kofi. They're trying to pop the back lid open and it fell on the ground. The shea butter, look, we need that. That's what we were going for, right? Yeah. So I'll go in the archives where I've posted a particular video already, and we'll find a newer version to put out and share with the people. Bruda Rich, shalom. I'm gonna put on my earphones so I can hear what everybody else can hear. The device for my TikTok isn't quite so good. Speakers. Go ahead, go ahead. I was plugging in so I could hear you. Oh, rolling swiftly and in a grand fashion. Thankful for even being able to stand before everyone and share this moment, as well as with you. Tada, brother. Shalom. Glad to share this moment, most definitely. Always, always. This is the people's platform, so this moment will always be available. All right. While I'm up talking and going on, you all can see I might jump back and forth on the subject, so I like to complete that part. Yet at the end, I want to always be able to have this panel open for people.